open the circle, the semicircle, and I would like us to all close our eyes and take a deep breath together. Inhale deeply and exhale into your body. And please feel your body, feel this heartbeat, feel your breath, connect with it. One more inhale together. And exhale into your heart. And feel your heart, the place where the soul resides. Feel the little light in that place, and maybe feel some gratitude to this body, to this breath, to this light inside of you. And we'd like to open this circle from this humble place and open it with 4 directions, the way that the native people do it in this land in the north. So we're going to turn to the direction of the north and call upon the spirit of the north, the wisdom and the clarity and the perseverance and the element of air, the flights, freedom, thanking that direction of the north. And we're going to call upon the spirits of the east, where the sun rises, the new beginning, the visions, the teachings, the way we finding ourselves growing, looking for the growth, this experience of Mother Earth, Spirit of Earth, turning to the direction of the sun, where the heart is, where the energy is, where the enthusiasm is, for all the courage of this heart, for all the passion. Finally turning to the west and calling in the healing is the spirit of this west, the darkness, the unknown, the mystery of this world, of this life. Calling upon the spirits of Mother Earth, thanking her for holding us here, this planet, our mama. Upon the spirit of Father Sky, for all the inspiration, for all the divinity, for the Godhead inside of us, for the protection. Coming to our heart, 7th direction of our heart, of this life we have inside, the willingness to be here, to enjoy it, to continue. That circle is connecting, uniting as one breath, one heart, one tribe, here together to hold this memory of the dear brother for all of us who believe. In the Vedic tradition, in Mandolina tradition, we call Akal, which means the undying soul, and we chant it together to assist, to facilitate the transition into the light. So I'd like us to all chant a few times Akal here to support this merge of the light from the earth over there. So just join me, and we're going to chant a few times Akal. Akal.
stick around and just, so we all listen to each other and hold the space and to share if you feel inclined to share. So I wrote a little bit, not too long. I was having some trouble remembering the first time I actually met Rick this past week, and yesterday when I brought over some photos of Rick's to Lilu's, I laid out one of him looking out at a sailboat and did some slight messing around with the colors, and it became overly saturated, and Lilu then said it reminded her of the style of some of Rick's old photos he had taken. Then I finally remembered our first meeting. He came into one of the first Alston art chairs that I organized at our house. It must have been early 2007. And I remember vividly the photos he brought. They were mounted on black cardboard and overly saturated with color, just like Rick was overly saturated with light and life and color. There were two photographs that I remember in detail, and one was of the marsh behind his family's home in Lynn. There's a wooden walkway leading out into the marsh. And the marsh was tinted pink and red, and the dock led the eye to a bright orange sky with a purple horizon line. The second photo was what appeared to be a yellow brick road from the Wizard of Oz, and spiral outward of golden earth formed by man into a path of bricks. Both pictures featured a path made by a man leading somewhere. As much as it's hard to accept that all of our paths have led us here today, together here we are. And together we're here because of the way that one man, a friend, a brother, led his path through life. And for me, thinking about how Rick led his life, he led it through enthusiasm and an open and ever-kind heart, the kindest heart. And through a deep questioning and a searching for freedom, he couldn't stand any limitations on his freedom to discover, and this is why he was so anti-government and anti-sitting around and just letting life be dictated for him by someone else's terms. He rode, and he rode hard, and he rode on his own power. He also always gave himself time to learn from others and from nature, and most importantly from his own body. He would push his boundaries of whatever his physical body could take, and he dove deep into uncovering what his mental and spiritual body were really made up of. He did all this with an outward presence of control and humbleness. So humble, and I admire him for this. So many of us get lost in our ego when things come to us naturally, and I never knew Rick to boast on his talents. So karmically, I believe this is why he was given this light that he shared with all of us. Brother, you must have done a whole lot, right? A good heart, and because of this, you showed through your spirit, and that's why I love you deeply. I have many good memories of Rick, and they keep coming back to me intermittently over the past week, and I really look forward to us all sharing these stories together, as it will bring us closer, as I believe we're all here to teach each other and to walk each other home through our path here on earth. So I'm deeply grateful I got to walk by Rick's side for some of the way. In reflection, he also shed light on some of the less attractive sides of myself, as any good friend does. I was definitely jealous at times when I saw his raw physical abilities and the peace that he just possessed and he had all the time. He would say, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I kept repeating the same mistake. He'd say, "Come on, man, you know this." As I knew I was messing up, but he still would, at the end, he would say, "But I'm here for you no matter what." And he meant this, even though he wanted me to move on and get my shit together. The reflections he showed me as I take this lesson is something I still need to work on. He was a workhorse, and he put his work in here fully, so now we can move on. Whether we like it or not, we still, all of us here, have some work to do. But Rick, as Rick would want, I hope this opportunity of all us being together makes our bonds to each other stronger and helps us each through the hard and the joyful times. When I took Rick to a medicine ceremony this last fall to help in the mourning of his mother's passing, We sat cross-legged in a teepee staring at a small fire, and I had a vision of us and a larger group of people interlocking arms as we crossed across a waterfall. This connection we share here is a bond, and a lot of water might be falling right now, so please just let us link together and help each other across and in the future. I've been remembering Rick's voice clearly in my mind this past week. A lot of the stories, the deep enthusiasm for how he talked about his passions and how he was going and what he was going through, and his philosophies and his heartache and his childlike curiosity. It's all sprinkled in between with his Beavis and Butthead and Cartman type laughter that he always had. And then I just see him stare into a fire forever and smiling through his eyes as he looks up at the sky. And there's one phrase that keeps coming back into my mind through all of this, and he always asked, no matter what, may I? He never assumed and he never took without asking, even if it was, weed, tobacco, beer, anything. And let's be honest, it was usually one of those things he might have asked for. So Rick, I'm asking you now, may I? May I continue to journey on my path with some of the light that shines through you? And may we all help each other just remember the light that you gave us. And I have a good idea the answer you'll give, but I still need to ask. May I? Thank you, brother. I love you. I love you all. Thank you guys all for being here. And we're all here, right? We're all here to share, and I really hope that, if we feel called to share, we will, and let's just all sit and listen to each other. So I just want to open this up to whoever wants to just share stories of him. We can sit in even more of a circle, or a semicircle. We don't have to all sit up here. We can just sit around the fire and share. So blessings, you guys.
Can you hold this burning stick?
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. I didn't write anything because I figured I would just improvise. That's what I do. Rick was my biggest teacher, I think. I knew him for 7 years, and there were 7 transformational years. I met him when I was 25, so you do the math and you know how old I am. And I met him, and he just had a glow that just got me from the moment I looked at him. And I didn't really I met him on Facebook. This cool name just popped up on Facebook. I was like, Rick Archer, that is a badass name. And I was like, who is this stranger? Like, I don't know this guy. And he just liked my picture, and he was always the kind of guy that just like did things outside the box, like things you'd never think to do normally. And it really used to scare me sometimes, but most of the time he would always just come through with these shining colors, like I remember his first time fire spinning, and he'd never touched a fire toy in his life. And I was like, oh my God, you're gonna burn your eyebrows off. And he just did it, and he did it well, and he just had this unbelievable ability to soak things up and learn, and I just learned so much from him. He was like my best friend and my partner, and at times my worst enemy, but he taught me me. He was like a true mirror for me, and he made me learn a lot about myself. And I really I'm so grateful that he existed, and You know, he had 29 amazing years, and he was the goofiest guy ever. And he was a serious guy and a spiritual guy, as might be surprising some of you that were doing this, but he was super spiritual. He loved nature. There was his natural habitat was just being alone in the woods and exploring. And he always supported me, and he helped me, he pushed me to grow, he pushed me to travel, pushed me out of my comfort zones without really pushing. He just kind of was like, you do you, keep doing you, do you. And I learned, and he made me the person I am. And I never in a million years imagined I'd be standing here doing this. But I'm really happy that you're all here. It's like a weird dream, I keep saying to some people. But he was big on dreams and telling me about transitions and walking through doorways, and he was always like, death seems like an amazing adventure. He would always tell me that. Especially when his mother passed, you know, so I'm happy he's wherever he is with her, and I know wherever he is, he's just happy when we're happy, and he would tell us, don't fuss, don't make a big deal, please drink a beer and smoke a spliff. So, I loved him, and I love him with all my heart. So. If anyone wants to, yes, grab it. And
yeah, we can make like, I think we should make it more of like a circle if anyone wants to stand.
Yeah.
Just also we share back and forth.
If anybody, we'll condense this into a circle if you guys want to sit down, get closer, and just share stories about them, you know. You're not obligated to say anything if you don't want to, but it's certainly if you want to. We're just going to keep this going for a while before we get all the fun stuff started. So, yeah, do what you got to do, man.
Hey y'all, I brought a chair up because I'm probably going to have to sit down. I don't know how to do this. I write, and I've written things. This is a little different. First thing I wanted to say is, my name's Joe. First thing I want to say is thank you to everyone here. Thank you for the person who's hosting, everyone who helped. And on Wednesday, I wrote on a Facebook, and about this, Rick, I know this is kind of ridiculous to say, but I really wish you could see the community you're inspiring right now. One thing you did so well in your life, you're also doing in your death, bringing people together. We've got your back. And the absolutely stunning and delightful thing that's happening right now is that from everything I've seen and experienced in the past few days, your friends are showing that they have each other's backs too. It says so much about you that you've inspired us all to love each other more and to defend our turf and our boundaries when called upon to do so. It says so much about you that you knew so many other wonderful people that we're getting to meet and connect with. I desperately wish you were alive, and I'm sobbing right now again just writing that sentence. But you're still creating meaning in the world, my brother. You're still making change through what you left behind for us, and we're picking it up and continuing it. We're doing it for ourselves because we want to. You wanted no followers. You wanted us to follow our own paths. I wish you could see right now what those paths are doing and how they're intersecting because of you. So I just wanted to start with that because this is like absolutely amazing. You all are like, this is amazing. As some of you know, like I have PTSD and I'm really vocal about it, and I'm an advocate around it. And Rick did too. And this doesn't have anything to do with his death, but it has to do with his life. I met Rick through Shah. You wanna come, Shah? You don't have to. You wanna come up here? You don't have to.
Yeah, for sure.
This is my Shah boo. I met Rick through Shah. In the summer of 2014, actually, I had collapsed really dramatically and found out that I had PTSD. I met Rick through Shah on Facebook while he was traveling. And not too long after we met, we're definitely going to connect when he gets back. And he made this post from Mount Masada. This glorious, beautiful picture of him. And he said, Mount Masada at sunrise, contemplating heroism, suicide, self-sacrifice, terrorism, and freedom. And why I woke up at 4 a.m. to do this. Worth it. I remember reading that and knowing that I was gonna probably love this guy for the rest of my life after I met him. And it's true, actually. One of the things that I learned in therapy, in this intensive therapy that I did after I left the hospital, and I met Rick just a handful of months after I left the hospital and started talking about this publicly, was that your relationships with others contain multiple parts. It's your relationship with them, and it's also their relationship with you. And when they die, and of course, depending on what you believe, when they die, their relationship with you ends, but your relationship with them does not. There's also this added element of their relationship with themselves is a part of your relationship. And your relationship with yourself is a part of your relationship with them. I've lost people before, but I've never been more devastated to lose someone else's relationship with me. My relationship with Rick was uncomplicated. And it was based in radical vulnerability. I feel like my stuff's a little out of order here, but I'm comforted by that framework of understanding relationships because it preserves my relationship with him. And it's a relationship that's going to continue to deepen and grow, although not in the way that I'd intended it to. But as I said, I've never felt a more clean and pure grief. And nothing was left undone. There's nothing left unsaid except just a desire for more. I returned to community. And what I wrote on Wednesday, I read at the beginning. I used to think, and at the time that I met Rick, I didn't think I was going to make it. I'm 37 now. I had spent my entire life, since I was probably about 10, thinking that I would die probably by suicide in my mid-40s. And when I met Rick, I was still working through that. I didn't think I was going to make it. But I've overcome that to a very, very great extent. And I wanted to grow old with him. And he was one of the people that I found myself unconsciously realizing I'm over it. Like, my life expectancy got longer because I imagined being old with Rick. I imagined, like, reports from the field with Rick, like, 20 years from now. I imagined, like, telling him about new loves and all the things that we talked about. And as Mike, hearing him say, "May I?" a million more times. So I don't have a good end for this, but I just wanted to say that one thing that Rick and I practice together and that the world is very much missing is radical vulnerability. It's dangerous, it's terrifying because it's dangerous, and it's not just in your head, like there are real dangers. And I know we all knew him differently. We all had different relationships with him.
Joe, brother.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you. I've never met anyone. I've never met any other. I've never met any other man. Let's be honest. Who I felt so met and so seen in that respect, and who stepped up with me to do it, to tell the truth. He told the truth. He told the truth, and he had boundaries. He didn't tell everything to everybody, as one should not. And he was imperfect, as we all are. We all know that. But Rick, to me, he was a truth seeker and teller. He was a finder. And I want my, I don't want to impose on anybody, but I am going to continue to honor Rick by doing what I was doing anyway. And it was amplified with him, which was truth-telling, radical vulnerability for the purpose of connecting with others in your environment, creating safer spaces for people to be real. This was Rick. He was so much, but yes, quit the bullshit, exactly. I hope that everyone here can just keep that, and keep amplifying that truth telling, and do the hard stuff, do the work, do the hard work. I got nothing else. I love y'all.
Yeah, Joe.
I knew Rick when we worked together at MIT. Kid came in the first week in a suit and tie. Clearly had no idea who he really was. But he was great to work with. He made us laugh. He made us run and get the leftover food before he could get to it and eat it all. Because God, that kid could eat. Yeah, he definitely was. I think one of my favorite memories of him, though, was I was going through a really, really bad breakup about 8 years ago. The guy turned verbally abusive, and it was a nightmare. And I happened to be at a house party that Rick was hosting, and he saw that I was not okay. And he was like, "Let's go smoke a joint." And I was like, "I've never smoked pot. What am I? What? Okay." And he just, he's like, "Come on, you need to relax. We're gonna take care of you." And he did. I called him my little brother, but I think that was the night that he almost acted like he was older than me, in the way that he made sure I was taken care of when I really needed it from him. He was such a phenomenal young man. I didn't get to see him often enough. I'd moved to Florida. I only saw him twice in the past 6 years, but I got to meet Leanne through Rick, and I got to see how much they loved each other. And I couldn't have been happier for him. I couldn't have been happier for my little brother, because he deserved it. And I wish he was still here with us, because he would have been one of those people that would have done so much to change the world. So much to change the world. So, rest in peace, Rick. We're all going to miss you.
Rick and I used to write to each other a lot, so I'm not going to tell a story or anything, but I thought it would be fitting to write him a letter, so I wrote him another letter. It's short. Anyway, Dear Rick, when the moon looks at me, it feels like you're telling me you love me. When it rains, it feels like you're hugging me hello. When I smell grass, I hear your laugh. And when I see blue, I see that face you make when you're serious and listening hard. I'm wondering how I'll live without ever talking to you again. But I suppose I still can. I just have to talk to the moon or the earth or the ocean or the wind. You're still here in everything. I'm realizing that you're a part of what I see in everything that is beautiful. You're a part of what beautiful is to me. You and I always referred to one another as each other's constant, and that was our word for each other, our constants. You were the one that never left, and I will never leave. I would trade places with you in a heartbeat if I could, because the world needs more of you. You carried my letter, and you carried it for almost 8 years. Who does that? Only people who know how to love do that, and most people don't know how to love. Your magic is in how you see small things. You noticed the edges and things that rhymed. You saw the flecks in a person's eyes and the tilt in their pinky finger. I don't believe in God, and I don't believe in the afterlife, but I'm trying to, because a soul like yours doesn't just die. It's too strong and too poignant. I feel you here, and I'm starting to believe. I have a laundry list of things to thank you for, and in my heart of hearts, I know we're not done. I know I'll see you again because I have to. I love you, Rick, and I'll see you around.
So I've known Richie since we were 4 years old. I call him Richie because he introduced himself as Ricky. With a speech impediment, the teacher thought it was Richie. So anybody who knows him as Richie, you can thank me. One of my first memories of him, I'm going to tell a bunch of funny memories when we were kids, because in a situation like this is the best you can do. He challenged me to a milk drinking competition in first grade. He drank about 5 half pints of milk, and I got to 4.5 before it puked up like milk and green peppers everywhere, and was banned from recess because I thought I was sick. And to this date, he still held it over my head. To be fair, as one of the previous people said, the dude can eat a lot, so no shame, he won fair and square. Richie had an incredibly straight moral code to those he loved. In 6th grade, I had a sleepover at my house, invited everybody from grade school, and somebody managed to snag a porn VHS from their dad. We all watched it, like, kinda. It's like 12 dudes in a room. It's kind of weird. And Richie, God bless his soul, told his mother. I was like, what the hell, Richie? Why did you do that? And you know what his answer was? He goes, my mom asked, did you do anything interesting? And I can't lie to my mom.
down. The guy could literally take a direct insult to the face and it would not even register. It's truly like an absolute like unique and deep confidence I've never seen in anybody else. And that confidence kind of translated to being amazing with the ladies back in high school. Richie once picked up a girl who was working in a McDonald's drive-thru. I can't say I wasn't like extremely jealous of him. Because despite being incredibly good looking, when you were the center of his attention, you were the absolute center of his attention. And the man knew how to make people the center of both new friends and old friends. And he always knew exactly when to give a hug. I think he's pretty unique in that everybody who's known him has always been rooting for him. I can't think of a single person who was ever his enemy, honestly, or even any person he met who wasn't his friend. And despite things being tough for him sometimes, I think he lived the life he wanted to live, not what anybody else wanted for him. He's probably the most fiercely, unflinchingly optimistic and independent person I know, and really lived life just according to his own desires. I feel pretty lucky to know him so long, and I'm gonna really miss him. Love you, buddy. Me and this guy now, we got some stories.
I knew Rick for, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Throughout that time we were in a circus together. We were best friends in really hard times, really great times. We were roommates for a short period of time. I run a martial arts school and he studied with us on and off for a long time. I didn't have anything prepared. I just wanted to come up and honor him for a minute. The last message I have from Rick is I believe it's Wednesday night, 2 weeks ago, and it says, "I'm in your house." At 10:45 p.m. I got really lucky, and he was in my kitchen, and I came downstairs and I got to see him a couple days before he left us, so I feel really blessed for that. Rick was probably the most genuinely loving and open-hearted person I had ever met. His issues were completely transparent. He wasn't hiding anything, and when he got angry it was real, and then it dissipated quickly. Over the 6 years I knew him, I probably saw him get angry twice, maybe 3 times, and it was genuine, like the most loving and beautiful smile. I realized when he passed last week that he was really family to me, that he was one of those people that I would have given anything to help, and I know the same would have been there for me. And I'll just share one last thing with you guys. I feel lucky again. He used to sit on our porch before I moved into the place I live. He lived in my room. And he used to sit on our porch, and when I moved in, they said, "You know what's really great about you? You're not going to sit on the front porch smoking spliffs, being loud, and drinking beer. We love Rick, but man, I wish you wouldn't do that." So last week I sat on the front porch, and I was really fucking loud. And I smoked a spliff, and I drank a beer, and I felt like I got to talk to him a little bit. And during that time, I had a daydream that culminated in a dream that night. And it was that Rick and I were walking, and it was pitch black, and there were stars above us. And I looked at him and I said, "You didn't deserve this, man. I really miss you. And I'm worried about you. I hope you're okay." And he said, I am okay. I miss you guys too, but please don't worry about me. Look what I get to do now." And he turned into this pink and blue cloud energy thing and flew off into the stars. And then he came back, landed again, became himself, and we're walking again. And he said, "It's so great. It's so huge out there. This freedom is amazing. Don't worry about me." And I said, "Okay, I won't worry about you, but I will miss you." And he said, "I will miss you too, but I'm here and I'm everywhere now." And then he did the cloud thing again and flew off and he was gone. So that felt real. That really felt. I could smell him. I felt like he was standing next to me. And I'll leave you with what that last thing. Whoever said that he could take an insult to the face. My last little story about Rick's probably 4 years ago. He walked into my old house before I moved and switched rooms with him. And he had been out working probably for 24 hours almost in the rain as a bike messenger. And his feet smelled horrible. Terrible. Like filled the room. Terrible. and we said something. We had a whole living room full of people, and if that had been me, I would have been like, either fuck you guys, I'm out, or I would have been really embarrassed. Rick, big smile, took his shoes off, put the socks in his shoes, moved him to the other side of the house, and went in my bathroom and rinsed his feet off in the tub. No complaints, nothing at all. So that was Rick. Just really, it took a lot to get him mad, and when he was mad, it was quick. Most of it was just all love, open-heartedness, and sort of like the strongest hugs. Anybody else notice how he would always stand as small as he could, even though he was huge? You know, even though he had a strong handshake, even he was small as he could, so that he wouldn't be imposing on you. Not because he didn't feel good about himself, but because he wanted to give room for other people. And, so I brought. Rick loved world religions and world language and all this stuff, and we used to talk about all these different mythologies and philosophies. So I brought 2 coins in case that shit about the river is true, in case you need to pay your way across to get in. And I love you, brother. Yeah.
I don't have any prepared remarks. Pardon me if I start rambling, I can do that sometimes. I wasn't as close to Rick as a lot of people here, but from the moment I met him, we just like, our souls were just, I don't know, something about being like hippie fire spinning bike messengers. We just like, boom, okay, we got it. I always admired him, I was always inspired by him, I was always jealous of him. I was jealous of his poise, his confidence, his drive, like fucking traveling the world and like just being awesome. Like he was the kind of person that I wanted to be, and I always looked up to him. I guess I'll just share a few little stories or asides about the kind of person that I saw him as. Talking about taking insults to the face, Colin, who works with us, I don't know if he's here, but likes to make up these cute little like nicknames to try to piss us off. And the one he came up with for Rick was the Dick Shooter. And Rick being Rick, took it in stride, and he would get into work and he'd chirp in on the radio and be like, hey, it's the Dick Shooter checking in downtown. just owning it, because like, you know, not gonna let that get under his skin. Here's something that I never thought I'd tell anyone, much less like 120 people. I once peed my pants in front of Rick. We were drinking beers at the fly office after work and went down for a cigarette, and like I'm standing out there and wasted, and like my bladder just lets go and my face turns beet red. And I look at him and he's just like not even uncomfortable, just like trying to make me less uncomfortable. And God bless him. Like there's a lot that I wanted to get closer to him. It takes me a long time to get close to people in general. I kind of have trouble like off the bat or whatever, I'm not sure. But like I always had the feeling that there's all the time in the world, and sometimes there's not all the time in the world. And that really sucks. But I've made the decision to take the inspiration that Rick gave me and take those aspects of him that I always wanted to be, and to make that real and make that my life, and to be a better person and be closer with people. There are people here who I've known through Facebook or whatever, never really talked to, who I'm now becoming really close with and forming like really powerful connections with, because Rick, even in death, won't stop being fucking awesome and inspiring us and bringing us together. And that's something really magical. Like he's like, body can die, but he's not gonna, he's here. He's here with us, and he's here inspiring us, and he's here making us better than we are. And Rick, I fucking love you. You'll always be here, and I will do everything I can to live up to the example that you set.
Hi everyone. My name is Greg. I know some of you. I've known Rick for almost 11 years. I wish I get to know every one of you that long. I came here. Some of you guys may wonder why the most disgusting chip is on the table over there. Please help yourselves. I remember the first fucking Rick's feet though, right? That actually brings me back to the first time I met him. He came over to my house with my roommate, and within the first 5 minutes, I immediately fell in love with the kid. And it was getting late, and I was like, dude, you just want to like stay over? And he's like, fuck yeah, I do. He takes off his shoes, and I literally kept me up all night. I was trying to be so fucking polite about it. But I remember, this is the first time I actually almost saw Rick upset. I even forget why. We went out to a party, and I think I got stood up by a girl, and he was supposed to meet someone. And, we got so fucking high that we went to the Hess gas station in Alston. And for some reason, we thought it was a good idea to get cheddar sour cream chips. And we're just sitting there and we're just realizing this is the only thing you eat when you're fucking high because they're fucking disgusting. And we just kind of came up with this inside joke, which I hope it can be something that all of us share. Like at the end of the day, it's cheddar sour cream, you know? That was like our Hakuna Matata, and every time I got high and I got one of these chips, I'd just take a picture of it and I'd send it to him. Whether he was in Spain or like with some, I don't know, indigenous tribes, I don't know. I couldn't fucking keep track of the kid. And the one thing about him though is that no matter how much distance we have between us or how much time, he's the only kid that could have this many best friends. Yeah. And honestly, at the end of the day, even though he's gone, I can't help to think it's fucking cheddar sour cream, you know? Hakuna fucking Matata. So please eat a fucking disgusting chip.
Greg.
Love you, Shaw.
I actually wasn't planning on saying anything tonight. It's been a very long week. But I'll just talk about Rick's mess foot, as I like to call it. Just got me thinking about. So when Rick started as a courier, he shows up downtown with this like crappy like camelback like backpack he's gonna wear, and I was like, you can't work as a courier with that bag. And he was like, well, it's the only bag I have. So I was like, here, I got you. So I let him borrow one of my bags, and he gets it and he puts it on. And he's like, oh, this thing smells like you. And I was like, yeah, about that. I probably should have washed it. And he was just like, you son of a bitch. And, you know, like, goes off working. And he works with that thing for, what, like 2 years? Until he gets that job in a basement that drove him crazy like 2 months later. But so, he'd come by my house and he gave me my bag back. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot. And he was like, no, thank you. And then I smelled it and I was like, oh, it smells like you now. And he just goes, oh, no, that's not my stink. That's a gift. I left that on the bag so you can remember me whenever we're not together. And yeah, I don't know. I just hearing about the whole mess foot thing and smell. I just thought about Rick being really funny about the way that he smelled when he worked too hard. But,
Showering's overrated.
It's not even about showers. It's about like There wasn't a job going to Longwood that Rick didn't want to do in less than 20 minutes. You know, he loved riding his bike. He loved doing it for free. So when he found out that he could get paid to do it, he sometimes would ride past places that he was supposed to be dropping packages off because he was having too much fun flowing with the traffic on his way. Yeah, like he'll double around. If he goes real quick, it'll work out. But yeah, that's all I need to say.
You're so solid.
I wasn't gonna say anything here. But everybody kept prompting and I kept thinking, and I was looking back at like my text from Rick's now too. And I was noticing a theme and wanted to bring that up and uplift this part of Rick as well. He was texting me about things like asking if I would be a reference for a fellowship on international relations and migrant justice that he was applying for. And, you know, a little while back we were talking about canvassing to stop Trump, and more recently about how to be part of the resistance. And I just want to invite that into this space, and also, you know, just remind, like, just thinking back to some of my deep memories with Rick were a lot about, you know, in addition to the joy and the laughter and the curiosity and the compassion and the empathy that Rick brought with him everywhere. And I think really, you know, because of those things, one other thing that Rick had was this fierce desire that a lot of folks have spoken about not wanting, not just refusing to be, withdrawing his consent from being governed by like the bad of the world, by injustice. Rick wanted to make the world better. And that kind of service is something I saw in Rick a lot. That is what this is, and Rick did it in so many different ways. And I wanted to, you know, I wanted like yes and there to be space for us to laugh and to cry and to grieve and to rejoice and celebrate. And I also want to invite, and I'm sure somebody will like talk about this more later, but folks to join not only the Ghost bike ride that's happening on Wednesday, that's going to culminate in, and that's being organized with like, and again, speaking to like who Rick is and who he brings together, because that's going to be with the Boston Cyclist Unions and a bunch of other folks. That's going to end at the City of Boston annual budget meeting, and they're going to all come, people are going to roll in and sort of crash that meeting and demand safer streets.
Yeah.
Because the city isn't a safe place for cyclists, and as Rick knew and as we talked about so much, like we don't have to accept things the way they are if they're not working for human beings, and that's what I saw from Rick. And we can create that change and build the world our hearts know is possible. So I guess one thing I'm taking with me from Rick, and you know, if I invite others to do it if they want to, if it feels good to them, is like, let's build. Let's create things that are better. Let's not accept things that are bad and that hurt people when we don't have to do that. And I saw that from Rick all the time. And like most of my conversations with Rick that weren't silly were about that. And I just encourage us to do that however we feel called and like however we're comfortable, but maybe also like taking another step out of our comfort zone and showing up for, you know, like if we're showing up for the cycling community because we were impacted by like the loss of our dear friend, showing up for other communities too, other communities that are under attack. And I just want to thank you, Rick, for always showing up as your most authentic self, and you know, just really embodying in different ways to different people that kind of authenticity and radical vulnerability and self-love, even when it was something you were struggling with, just like it's something that I think all of us struggle with. And you know, I wanna show up the way you showed up, and I wanna build the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. And I wanna thank you for inspiring that in all of us, and encourage us to keep doing that work in honor of Rick and in honor of all the people that we care about.
Hi, I'm Nimue. I'm a little nervous telling this because this gets into a part of Rick that doesn't get as discussed maybe as often, but was certainly a part of him and a part of all of us, I think. Rick is one of the few humans who, through a rather intense psychedelic event, I might have seen his soul. And it was beautiful, as you might imagine. It went off into forever. It was very, very strongly formed and forged with love. Rick saw me for healing, and Rick saw me for tarot cards, which I dabble in a little bit. And a lot of people have mentioned this already about where Rick is now. I did a reading on Rick about right when he left his body, or left this planet, or so I thought. It was a past, present, future of how he was. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. And the past card was the Chariot, which I think made an enormous amount of sense, given his love for cycling, and just taking that Chariot into the next adventure, to the next day. The present card was everybody coming together to build something really beautiful. It was like a preparation card. And the future card was the world. So according to the cards, whether or not you believe in any of that, the future saw Rick as part of the world that is currently holding us. And I really do believe he has gone back to that which cradles us all. I feel very, very honored and blessed to have known him. And I will miss him very much.
I am overwhelmed by the amount of people that are here. My name is Patty and I'm Rick's aunt. My sister was his mom. And even though I knew he had a lot of friends, this is overwhelming. This is just, I just love all of you, because everything that I'm here is just part of my Rick. Growing up, he was as adventurous then as he was now, as he is now. He was sometimes a little hellion.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah, we are. I remember a time I had my two kids with me, his cousins, and they were playing in the snow. And my sister and I had gone inside, and we went back outside, and they were like just gone. They were just gone. And we were frantically looking everywhere for them. We found them when they came back, like hours later. We were calling the police. Everything was happening. And when we asked Rick how come he took the kids so far away from home, and then, you know, why they were gone so long, he just looked at me and said, "We were on an adventure." He has been adventurous, I swear, since the day he was born. Just the day he was born. I'm just happy you're all here, and I'm happy I can be part of this. I love you all. Thank you.
I'll go.
Alright, I'm gonna start this out with a big hey yo!
Hey yo!
Alright, I'm friends with Rick for a very long time. I met him in my first Firefly.
If you don't know what Firefly is, get to the old people.
Hanging in a tree, getting ready for the burn, which is where we all go down and show our true selves. It's nice to meet somebody at that point because, as many have come up here and said, instantly knew, instant connection. He was my brother from the start, and we've traveled, never abroad, but together here in this city. I've met him many a time, many place. Many people here were involved, and we came together again, back downtown working, struggling, riding, making money the way that, you know,
real men do.
Busting your ass for money. Working real hard. And, you know, up till the end, every time I saw him, I got a hug, I got a smile. And I just want to let you all know I'm here for you on both sides of the community. Like, I need you all to be here for me.
Here for you, Paul.
Yeah. Guys, I love you guys all. Thank you so much. I didn't think I would be able to be here at all. We're all humans. We all feel the ups and we all feel the downs. But when you see someone and you make eye contact with a person like Rick, you get reminded, you get grounded, you get back to yourself. People like this, I just feel like this happens to the people like Rick because they are the power, they are the reminders for us. It's not that we're any different, it's that they are being the ones that are saying, hey, get together, and like Joe said, quit the bullshit. There are feelings, we're humans, we live. I have Rick's handlebars on my fucking bike. I've had so much issues with all these bike kids and all this bike life and biking, and I stopped biking, I fucking skate. I just started jumping over shit on my skateboard. I'm like, what? Like, yo, life is fucking nuts. And love and life and progression and the eye contact and the handshakes and the hugs, that's what Rick did. When Rick saw you, he gave everybody. He knew what eyes to give everyone that he looked at. Yeah. That's the type of person he was. You know what I'm saying? That dude, that was a person, that's a fucking elephant in the room right there. Woo! You know? And he brought a bunch of fucking elephants together. You know, that shit is crazy, and that's love, and that's life, and like that's magic. If you believe in magic, you believe in Rick. I'm out. That's it. Woo! Yo, I love you guys, man. We're here for a fucking reason. Woo! You know.
Well, crazy? How do we start? How do me and my boys start this? We start this when we see Rick. We say, "Caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw." Because when we were lost and when we said that, we would hear each other on our bikes, you know. And when we rode our bikes, the
habitat, you know.
Everybody. I mean, some of the. You ride your bike long enough, you get hurt. Something happens, you know. We all get hurt.
We've all been hurt.
We all get hurt.
We've all been hurt.
But we don't lose people, and we never lose. We never lose somebody this close, you know? These are my boys. These are my boys. Rick was standing here right with us every Sunday having brunch with us.
Man.
And everything, what I want to say is that everything that everybody's saying is that, like, Rick's spirit touched everybody, you know? He was positive. He was more positive. We're the fucking goons, dude. Rick was the fucking leader, you know? Rick was the smart kid out of all of our group, dude. I'm 37 years old. I'm 10 years older than him, and he was always smarter than me. Always present. Very present. Present is like the other thing that everybody keeps saying. He looks at you. When you look at him, he looked at you at that moment. Like how are you feeling right now? How often do we look at each other and actually tell each other how you're feeling right now? You know.
Comme ci, comme ça.
And when you said that to him, he would also take your weight and be like, "How you feeling, man?" And he'd be like, "Well, we're better now, you know. We're better now that we're here together." And this is a fucking crazy thing, dude, because there's a lot of us here, dude, but we never fucking show up like this, dude. We show up like this.
We all pass each other, you know.
Yeah, we love each other through him, man. Dude, like we are the fucking bikers in this city, and we barely talk to each other. He made us talk to each other.
Yeah.
So keep talking to each other, and I love you guys.
Yeah.
Man.
Cheers.
I love all you guys, man. Everybody. Somebody give me a ride to Burning Man.
Bike there. Share the road.
Bike there. We can't get there. Bike there. Jesus.
No, Walden Pond, dude. Yeah, Garrett.
I knew Rick. We met at college, University over Madrid.
Sometimes.
And,
Quiet. Hey.
Use your big voice.
Yeah, sorry. So we met in university, and we hit it off right away because we always smoked and we drank. We were little hellraisers, little hellions.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
And Rick was just always a wicked good guy, and there's so many memories that I have, but I mean the one memory that I have is recently. Last summer, after his mother died, we had just graduated from college. It took us 10 years. I remember that was fucking badass. And we graduated, and then like a month later, his mom died, and I just felt so bad. Like I just didn't know how to feel. Like he was just such a good friend. He wanted peace. He always talked about peace when we were studying. It was always about, finding the solution, finding peace. And there was one person who deserved it most, it was Rick, to find peace. And I remember I just wished it. Like, I really, felt it. When his mother died, I just was like, send this kid some goddamn peace. Like, he deserves it so much. And that was, and I remember, then we went on my birthday, later that summer in July. And he was working like a dog. Like, you guys were the bikers, you guys worked like motherfuckers.
Or framers, dude. Be like fucking building houses, too.
Rick was like a hard worker.
Rick was a bad.
Achy bones, coming home from work. I remember he's just like, vent about that shit. And we went to Maine. I don't know what it was, but he slept the whole way in the van, so peaceful. And we got to Maine. It was like one of those, cloudy, cool. It wasn't hot in the summer. It was like a cool Maine. And Rick was able to just get a lot of sleep, and I remember he slept so much, and he was so peaceful. And I took a picture of that, and he had peace that weekend. I felt confident, I felt good that he had that, and I feel good right now that he's got peace now, and forever. Rick.
I wasn't trying to do this. I'm really fucking insecure. I get crazy anxiety all the time. But
I love you.
But I have I have a lot of history. I've been in Boston 10 years, and I knew Rick for 9 years. He lived in the house that I moved into. He's been through a bunch of weird shit, just like me. We've had a lot of turmoil. You know what I mean? So I've seen some of the hardest times with him. And the eye-to-eye thing is really important. He would always just he was fucking fucked up passionate about telling you what was going on. You know what I mean? And sorry, I'm listening to music because it's helping me. You know what I mean? He lived at 40 Tower for a long time, and I met all those burning kids and all the fire spinners, and it was a community that I'm not really really connected to, but the open-mindedness was always there, you know what I mean? Like, I questioned my sexuality with him, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just dope. Like, he made you make sure that everything was, like, anything was possible, you know what I mean? Like, anything was possible with him. You could do whatever you fucking wanted with him. He was so cool. Sorry I'm swearing so much. You know, the mess queen, remember his bike, the bike that got stolen? He had this really, really cool bike, and it kind of looks like mine now. It reminds me a lot. I want to clean mine up and make it look a little better now, but like, he definitely tied the community together. I want to call out like all the serious bikers I know that like never talk to each other. Like Adam had it right. Like none of us talk to each other, you know. And but we're around, you know. Like I'm down to be like, you know, like I just want you guys to know that like
we all love you.
I fucking love all of you guys. I love all of you guys. You know, and if I bother you, let me know. I'm working on myself too. You know what I mean? Like I'm not right in the head either, you know. But you know, Rick was like Rick and I don't know, man. We shroomed a lot together. We ran out in the woods a lot together. We got real in the woods. We rock climbed and fucking threw shit at each other. Oh man. And that's how I know Rick. I'm so like we were all in the IC unit together, and I was just so scared that day. You know, I was so glad.
Let's rap together, because the biggest thing that Rick did is he was always working on himself, dude. He was always trying to make himself better, dude.
He was really good.
That's something that he made us all try to do. You know.
So I want to say that all the people that have like gotten really fucked up close to me, like because of this, like thank you, because I'm having a terrible time with it, and you guys being here, I didn't even want to come here. Thank you, everybody. Woo! Thank you. I don't know what else to say, dude. I don't know what else to say.
That's it, man. That's all you gotta fucking say. Hey, y'all. I just want to quickly say Rick was for me. When I first got here like 6 years ago, Mark got us all together. We were boys. You know, we hung out. We saw each other every single day and like got each other through every single day.
Speak up. I got you. This boy is our power, man. He supports all of us, dude.
Hey, Stephen Fletcher fixes my bike.
Yeah, Steve Fletcher, man. Shaw Paul, dude. Those are rocks, dude. Steve Fletcher, Shaw Paul.
First time I met Rick, he says he wants to shag carpet a bike for Burning Man.
Oh, and he did it.
So I was like, all right, I don't really know you very much, but like, I'll get some zip ties together, and we did. We shag carpeted this bike, and he went off to Burning Man. And he came back, and I go, where's the bike? He goes, dude, that thing got so heavy, it wouldn't even ride anymore. I had to just leave it somewhere.
He's like, that was $360 in shag carpet.
But the most important thing for me is when I was with these boys, I felt invincible. And the point is Rick was invincible. And if you're like Rick, you are invincible and immortal, because
nobody
he's
can
still
stop you,
here
dude.
and he's still around us. Woo! We're all together.
Woo! Come on, we're here. Yeah! I just want to say one thing real quick. This past December, Shaw and I took a road trip to Florida, and Rick gave us 5 packs of cigarettes from the duty free that Steven had given him, and they've got the most disgusting thing on the back. But I found the 1 pack left in the car the other day, and so if anybody wants one, just feel free to ask me.
On a side note, like it's a lot more legal now. There was no spliff on planet Earth like a Rick spliff.
Hold on, microphone check.
That's it. That was microphone check. That's it. No spliff on Earth like a Rick spliff.
Anybody?
Hi everyone, I'm Madison. I had met Rick in passing a few times, but he had reached out to me just a few weeks ago and wanted to set up an energy healing session with me. So when I heard of his passing, it hit me pretty hard. And as I'm here tonight with all of you, I'm reminded of the impact that we have on each other, and how important it is to be present and to share your love and your gifts and your talents and your joys with everybody that you meet, and also the pain that we all share from being in a body. You know, I understand that Rick was fascinated by and given life by the universe and by nature, and by knowing that we are innately free beings and fighting for that freedom. So it's just a really beautiful culmination of feelings that's going on right now. So in honor of healing and of Rick and of progression and creating peace and love and joy within each and every single person on this planet and the planet itself, I will be, I've set up a healing space upstairs, and anybody who wants to come and just, 10 or 15 minutes, I will be there holding space for everybody that's here. If you walk up the stairs and make a hard right, it's the door right there. If it's open, please come in. If it's shut, come back in 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll be there. So thank you everyone so much, and thank you for being here.
I just want to say something to those of us here that are Carfly. I've been in touch with Nova, who's on Tempo Bill this year, about possibly putting a bike or something in Temple for Rick. I Camp with Lamp, we're right next to Lion. We're talking about doing some kind of memorial for him, either in our camp or maybe like the DMZ between our camps. If anyone at all wants to be involved in that, I'm not much of an organizer, but feel free to reach out to me and I'll let you know what's up, and maybe we can get a real community effort in Temple for him and see what's what.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to share? Anyone? Okay.
Yeah,
Last chance.
Yes, I will.
Oh, trust me, we'll get to that. I promise.
Hi, I'm Finn McCool. I never met Rick, and I'm really amazed at the Rick that I didn't meet. And through reading your words and seeing your presence here is truly an amazing testament to somebody that seemed to be a Buddha on a path. And it's said that when Buddhas meet on the path, they need no introduction. And I feel like I didn't need an introduction to Rick because I always knew him. And I really feel that mankind is slightly diminished here with his loss. And that, speaking of grief, which is a very interesting thing, I said the other day that grief is like looking into the face of a dragon. It's absolutely terrifying. Eventually, you get used to it. So, please know that that dragon is there at times, and that we all stare at it, and that it does get a little easier every time. So it is an interesting thing, and I'm really pleased to see everybody here to share space and to hold this container. And I really felt that all the time you were all speaking, Rick was up in the tree interrupting you. You all heard that bird?
You mean in the elevator or setting off in a fucking fire alarm in the hospital?
Birds take flight. Thank you.
That's what he was doing. He's everywhere.
All right, well, if everyone shared that wants to share, I guess we'll close the circle. Huh? You want to share? Okay. Couple more? Okay, good.
We can do this all night.
Keep going. I mean, it's all good. Keep going.
Hi, everyone. I didn't know Rick as well as a lot of you did, but like all of you, you didn't need to spend a whole lot of time with him to see what an incredibly beautiful human being he was. And to have him really touch you and leave a mark on your life. And it's so heartwarming to see all of these people sharing their stories of connection with Rick and with each other. And I think that that's his legacy. And one of the conversations that Rick and I had that really stuck with me was at Rick and Lilu's housewarming. And we were in the guest room and he was showing me all of these artifacts and memorabilia from his lineage and his heritage, his grandfather's pipes and his copy of the Torah and all of these precious things that had been passed down to him that he felt were his legacy. And I know that his lineage and his legacy and the mark he was leaving on the world was very important to him. And it shaped the way that he interacted with everyone. And I know that he would just be, he's so fucking happy that we're all here doing this. And I'm happy that we can honor him in this way. Oh.
Really quick.
Marco? Y'all can just pass it to each other.
I am. I'm Ben.
We need you.
Really quick. What was I gonna say? Raise your hand if you had the chance where you met him twice. This happened to me. I met him through one friend, and then a while later I met him through another friend. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Cool.
What do you mean?
What was the other thing?
He's got 3 groups of friends.
Shit. What was it? Oh yeah. And raise your hand if you ever ran into him out in the city and it was unexpected. Anybody? Yeah. Okay. And last one. Raise your hand if you ever slept on your couch. Okay. All right. Who's that?
Anybody? Mark, do you have a sleeping bag? What the fuck?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but the slept on the couch thing, kind of. I mean, my name's Anna. I met Rick in 2013 when we were building our first house on the mountain in Maine, in a beautiful land. And he came and helped and lived on our couch. We didn't even have walls, so he literally slept on a couch next to my bed with my partner. He helped. He was always there, but almost not there at the same time in his way. And then when everything burned down to the ground, he came back again and helped us rebuild the next house. And we've been working on that for about 3 years now. We're supposed to come and finish it completely this summer. We're pretty much at that point. And I mean, a few months ago, he was living with us in a 2-bedroom apartment with me, my partner, our 2-year-old daughter, a giant dog, and a cat. And he was living on our couch then, and he's literally the epitome of light in both senses of the word. He was light, his presence was fairly palpable. It was just there, and he's also just the light that just made you smile. And when you were down, he was present for all types of crazy fucking drama that he had to witness because he was in our apartment with us, and always just made it better. He would come and smoke a spliff on the balcony with me and
that Rick spliff.
the Rick spliff, and talk about whatever. And he just became he came as a worker and became a brother, and
always a brother.
I miss him so much, and I was really looking forward to having that big party when we finish the house, but I guess we'll just have to have it without him. You guys are all gonna be welcome to come.
I'll help you finish that. Let me know.
For sure. Anyone we're
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to say that he was like he helped build out this place. Like he's worked in this house. I don't know who owns this place, but props to the people that opened this place up, dude. I helped soundproof the basement with them last summer. You know what I mean? Like.
love you, Rick.
Fuck,
miss
right,
you
yeah.
forever. Miss you until I see you again.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I guess it goes back to you.
Alright.
More food?
I think we're gonna close it out now, guys. So I just want to thank everybody who shared. And if you didn't get to share and you wanted to, we're all here to just keep sharing with each other. The night is young. And, you know, if you brought some instruments, please whip them out and play them. If you brought fire toys, whip them out and spin them. Okay, because we also, Annie Gale has set up a space inside in the living room if you want body work. And as Madison mentioned, there's a more private space upstairs if you need to talk, if you need to separate yourself, if you're having a moment and you just don't want to be around people, you can go up there. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming out here and for braving a bit of the cold and for sharing Rick's life. We really appreciate it. Love you.
Are we gonna keep the circle going? Yeah.
Okay.
Keep expressing yourself through your voice, music, dance, sharing stories.
Yeah, we'll close it later after. Okay, yep. So yeah, we'll close the circle later after everybody's just expressed themselves with dance and song and fire and yeah. Thank you.
Come here, come here. Come.